Welcome to Kissa Idea Ka, where idea represents inspiring individual having a dedication, energy, and ambition. Today's guest is very special for me. She is my mentor, inspiration, and philosopher, none other than Fraz ma'am. And she is successful businesswoman. At the same time, she is a trustee and founder of Purni Foundation. Ma'am expertise include leadership, time management, communication, and effective way of team leading. We are so happy to have. Yes, ma'am. So first we want to know, we know as you leaders, businesswoman, strong woman, but we want to know your like, can you share your journey so far and experience that shaped you today? I was born in India. And well, but I finished high school there, and college there, MBA there, work there. So I was there for 20 years, and then that's the country where I met you. So in a nutshell, I've been here also, I've been there also, Western practice, Indian practice, and then I have Western practice, which is USA practice. I definitely think my confidence came from USA. I definitely think my values came from India. And I think both have taken a very blend. Really nice to hear that. So, ma'am, we know that leadership plays a very important role, and your expertise includes that. So, have you ever received any leadership advice that changed your life? I had a fantastic mentor at the job. I think all of you know about her name was Jessica. And she taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about confidence, a lot about women, how you have to sit at the table as a people, but at the same time to be realized that the circumstances are not always equal. How to find your voice and be loud enough to be heard, but soft enough to blend with the background, to make enough waves and then also sit back while the water finds its level again. She was through actions more than words. Although she talked through words also, so the most memorable speech I have heard is that has given to me, which I might not have done properly. And the most beautiful is to get the platform at the night, and she needed it more than anybody. So she took me to her house. We took it all night and go home. And then she came down and took me off to get later. So I guess that's what I get back from, in addition to the fact that my father is a teacher, my mom was always with me. All that came together, culminating in a that's really good. So, ma'am, has I see like your journey is kind of like roller coaster, like different. Like you born here, study there, so like different culture, different environment. How that can help you with shape personality, what you are doing. I think that if I had grown up here, I don't think I would have found my voice. I don't think I would have been able to speak my opinion. I think there would have been a different set of expectations. Although I see my female friends who grew up here, and I don't see that as the case for them, but I think my personality was such here in India that I was quieter. I was always to the back. I think I may have continued being that way, but I think going to USA was very, very good. And also having that kind of education where it's more application and theory. It's more understanding the concept, if you apply the concept, then it is conceptually now delivered in points that here. Also, when I was in USA, it was discovered that I had depression. So the treatment for that, without any medication, using your brain, making those neuropathways, making those. So I don't think I would have got all that here in the way I got it there. But yeah, so like I said when I started, that the values from here, the skills from there, success, practice,
Janambhoomi and Karambhoomi both are play very important roles.
अभी मुझे पता नहीं what is Janam Bhoomi and Karam Bhoomi, but if you're saying, I'll take it.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, you believe like you have taken a lot of good decisions, or very important decisions, like starting a business or like starting a new job. So, anyone who wants to take a big decision or very important decision, career decision, how it can take?
I have a business, but I started a business, but I was not big time. But I work, but I have not started that. Yes, I started at what does it take? That was as long as that when it's powerful enough, but if you don't have it, you should work with after after the fact that now you think that you work confidently hard. But because of your everything. Put the foundation का lot भी बोलो, पहचान बोलो, just look at what you do. But without that, this passion and that purpose, you would not have found your facility. You would not have that purpose, but that purpose would not just be the facility of the time. And then it's not again. But you have that purpose, then they can, but no purpose means
In today's generation, we are too much confused because we have too much. The clarity is not there. That's why we don't know our purpose, our why. So, how anyone can find why?
so you also not decide to purity and not willing to fail. So that you want to succeed at everything. You want to be popular at everything. You want to be popular with your friends. You want to be have O grade and A grade and top GPA. You don't want to fail at anything. And when you don't want to fail at anything, that's very dangerous. How will you know what you like, what you don't like, what you're willing to test, what you're not willing to test? How will you find your purpose if you're not willing to? Because part of exploring is failing. And the challenge with the generation, I believe, is like follows, comment, wow, such a good job. But the second you say something like, you're late, can't come to or the- can't deal with consequences. Failure is not an option for most of the generation, I think. And because of that, you're not going to try it. And if you don't try it, I think you need to find a team that believes of teachers to try and force.
So, ma'am, how do you like engage our team in difficult situations?
Yeah, so what I was trying to say earlier is that make a team or form a team that shares your purpose. Because if they don't share your purpose, they are also going to treat it just like a just if you take so for if we're talking about goodness foundation, if you take children who just want for class credit or course credit, yes, team, they'll do this much. But you take children who, oh my God, that's my child, that's my Lakshmi, I want to take her far, hence the purpose matters, right? So whether it's a job I feel or whether it's a foundation, I think it's important to get people who align with your values and people who are inspired by your purpose. They don't have to make your purpose their purpose, but they have to be inspired by your purpose. If they are inspired by your purpose, they're more likely to work along the lines of how you would work, with the ethic you would. Same for your job, same for a department. You're trying to hire for a department. Then you hire people in alignment with your value. There are so many times I hire people with less skills because skills can be taught, but they align with the same value, right? That then makes the team easier to work with, easier to move forward.
Yes, yes. So, ma'am, we feel like some people believe we don't have opportunity to lead. So how can I become a leader? So leader is a title or it is a behavior.
So I don't think you need a title to be a leader. I I I think I have exhibited leadership without a title, and then of course leadership qualities with a title.
Hmm.
I think you can be sweeping the floors of a company, or you can be the CEO of a company, the leader in either position. I think it is how you come to the job. I think it is how you come to the purpose of cleaning the building, how you come to the purpose of running the company. Leadership qualities, some are inbuilt, I learned, and some can be taught. Many can be taught if somebody has the desire to actually practice the skills. But knowing who you are is just a good. If you're confused about it, you can't inspire somebody else to move forward because then you're confused. So where are they confused? Which way this is. So if you're clear about who you are, where you are going, then they can be like, oh, that's the kind of thing.
Yes, yes. Know yourself first.
100%.
Very important.
And when you're in your 20s, again, going back to my previous point, losing all kinds of things, fail at something, succeed at something, only then will you know who you are, what do you like, where do you want to go, who you want to be. Uh, until you explore, until you fall, stand, you don't even know what your character is. You won't even know what your values are. Are you someone who's like, एक बार गिर जाए तो जल्दी रहना है? Or are you the type that, hello, it's them. You fall 100 times. Are you the type of person that gets up the 101st time? Where like, what are you now it's down here. Who are you? But if you're not going to try this, how are you going to?
That's why we feel now I don't like this. I changed my career
Yeah.
in so many times.
You fail one math exam and you hate math.
True.
Like,
I know.
right?
Yes. So,
Yeah.
ma'am, how do you deal with the self doubt and making an important decision?
Make that question pretty. What do you mean?
Like self doubt. Always we have like starting a something. For example, starting a podcast. It will be go good or not. I will like not focusing on my study. Too much thought that confusing you or like like making a hurdle in the your path.
So biologically, we are wired to think about what will go wrong, but we are not wired to think about what will go right. Biologically, we have a part in our brain called the amygdala, right? Which is supposed to make you scared, to protect, supposed to make you scared of looking small, supposed to make you scared of the people who don't treat you right, right? But we have no opposite part of that in us. We
Yes.
have no success part of that. So biologically, we are all always going to think about what is going to go wrong. That person doesn't like me. I will never be accepted. I look ugly. Whatever it is, biologically, you're already wired for it. To be able to think successfully, to be able to move positively, you have to make an effort. So imagine if every time you're walking, there is a force that's pushing against you. At some point, some people are going to stop, right? And some people are going to be like, okay, this force is always going to be there. Let me keep it. Which person are you? Are you the person that, okay, but I'm going to keep moving? Or are you the person that says, okay, that is why everybody dreams, right? They say a graveyard. You know what a graveyard is? Uh, जहाँ लोगों को bury करते हैं जब वो लोग गुजर जाते हैं.
हाँ.
हाँ, हाँ. That's a graveyard. They say a graveyard is the saddest place, not because people have passed away, because big, it's a whole big space of unrealized dreams. जो सपने पूरे नहीं हुए वो, क्योंकि आप बाहर जाओगे अभी, हर एक से पूछो, हर एक के पास कोई ना कोई सपना होगा. किसी को गाड़ी चाहिए, किसी को बंगला चाहिए, somebody wants 1 crore rupees. Somebody wants a dream job. Somebody wants some church. Somebody wants to marry somebody. Somebody wants to. Everybody has a dream, but roughly 5 to 10% of people make their dream. And of those 5 to 10%, financially those who succeed are, I think, close to 5. So everybody has a dream, but not everybody wants to be that pushing wala force to make that happen, right? Yeah. So which percentage are you? The 95% who will lie there when they're 80 years old with their own computer, यहाँ जाके वो करने के लिए, or are you going to be that 5% that कुछ बाकी नहीं है करने, जो भी करना था किया, right? But there's a reason that only 5%.
Mhm. So how to be that 1%?
Keep doing. I said it in class before, and I'll say it again. Do it fast. You wake up in the morning, get fast, get out of bed fast, brush your teeth fast, get dressed fast, go to college fast. At some point, the tears will become less. You sit in the lecture, you hold your tears. By the end of the lecture, some friend will talk to you. Now the tears are gone. You just got to move. Same concept of you've got to do it. You've got to just face the next. And the more times you do things scared, the easier it becomes to do those things. Next time, even when the amygdala, because the brain is a computer. How you program your brain is how it will respond to the situation. So you do one scary thing, you do 10 scary things. Then the brain goes, okay, okay, okay. This is now not a scary thing. You understand what I'm saying? For example, for me, to sit in a restaurant alone and eat was scary. लोग क्या कहेंगे, वो बेचारी है, whatever, those thoughts. So years, it took me years. I went for it. I said that. कुछ बुरा नहीं है. In fact, there were a lot of other people sitting by them, right? So now all of a sudden my amygdala is like, okay, now suddenly मैंने बनाया, right? So I do it again, then I do it again, then I do it again. So now that it doesn't feel as deep walking into a restaurant, sitting down, eating a meal, eating. In fact, because on days like today where I've been running around, I called you actually today. I wanted no fish. I wanted no bone. I wanted no Lakshmi. I wanted just some time by my side. So I went, and a couple came back, and I was very good. But you've got to do it. You've got to do it regardless of what things people are thinking of. Even for our bedtime book. First, I used to be scared or feel bad. So after ये problem हो गया, I need to fix this problem is something I need to fix. Because I used to feel people would judge you decided to run this NGO and now you can't find a space or whatever it is. Yes, I went for the meeting. I think I must have told 50 people. I said, "Tha, tha, tha." From that, then this happened. Yesterday, from that, then we got it. So you've got to do it fast, you've got to do it scared, you've got to, whatever negative emotion you feel, there's a power so much greater than you that is ready to manage that. So you just, it's
Yeah, because ma'am, we can't express our thought or emotion freely in today's generation. That's why our anxiety and depression too. So how do we handle that anxiety depression? Because our real self is here and ideal self is here, and we always try to match them.
think your generation is the most. In fact, I think our generation did not express themselves. I think you all are expressing everywhere. Podcast पे express कर रहे हो, you're expressing on podcast, you're expressing it on YouTube, you're expressing it on Instagram. कहाँ express नहीं कर रहे हो? Classroom में झगड़ रहे हो आप लोग टीचर लोग के साथ. You're in canteens, you all are expressing opinions. Where are you not expressing opinions? ठंडा लेके, what is it called? मोर्चा, strike, anything you're not expressing. थोड़ा भी कम लगता है आप लोग एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हो. Your anxiety and depression, I believe, are coming through the constantly comparing yourself to others. You're constantly creating a standard for yourself that's not a realistic standard. What you're seeing on Instagram are filters. And then, as a young woman, you're looking at a filtered face, not realizing it's a filtered face, and you're judging how bad you look compared to that filter. Now you have AI generated videos, some of them that look so real, and you're wondering why your content can't look like that content, but it's not even real content. The anxiety and the depression is coming from this idea of who you should be, that society is communicating to you. Not, it's not your standard by your values. It's not your dreams by the dreams God has planted. It is how everyone else is coming across, and you want to match that. Well, we're not supposed to match anybody, right? We're supposed to be unique in our own right. We're supposed to be unique in our own purpose. So the anxiety is when the soul is calling you to be one thing and your actions are making you do another. That push and pull is your anxiety, right? I believe I should be so blessed by God that no flight should be delayed when I'm traveling. All flights should be on time. I should get the best seat. अभी अगर वो मेरा belief है, and now my flight is delayed, anxiety, right? I had one expectation, but the world gave me something else. So now, listen, God, I'm a good person. Just give me flight on time. Take now. I don't ask for money. I don't ask for fame. I don't ask for this. I don't ask for that. Flight तो time पे रखो भैया. और वो भी नहीं होता है. You understand? Simple.
Very, very good example, because when our expectation is not fulfilled, the problems and everything is.
Yeah.
So, if you could change one thing about leadership culture today, what would
Fail. Be okay with failure. Be okay with being held accountable. When somebody holds you accountable, it upsets you because I'm perfect. What do you mean? What do you mean this is not right? What do you mean I have to come? What do you mean I now don't get to get your prayer because of X, Y, Z? Uh, be okay. Be okay with somebody being different and telling you something different or expect you to. You don't have to agree with that. Nobody is saying you have to agree with that. But you have to respectfully listen. And then you have to sit with yourself and see was it true to what you said. If you feel yes, then you decide what you need to do for yourself. But if you feel no, then you continue doing what you do. But someone says about that's not so positive. You don't have to always react to it, but be prepared. Be prepared to be held accountable. Be prepared to try to be the best version of yourself. Be the best. And success is
so, ma'am, like one thing that you know, Jesse Sangat Jesse Rangsar. So, choose people around you very wisely. How we select like these people should choose.
and today, though, we have two proper truths. We have spiritual truth, we have experimental truth. But the top five that you spend time with determine how much money you will earn, what your spiritual values will be, everything, how you will dress, speak, everything. The top five people you spend time. Again, you can't choose those five people if you don't know who you are. If you don't know who you are, what your purpose is, what your values are, forget if I don't know who I am, I don't know what my purpose is, but do I know my values? Do I know my top five values? If I know my values, then I bring other people to me that have similar values. They don't have to have similar career. They don't have to have similar interests, but they have to have similar values. So I'm not going to bring to my city somebody from a land. So there's going to be no woman in my circle who is having an affair somebody else while being married. Those are not aligned. No matter what the circumstances, right? Sometimes there are reasonable circumstances that force someone to do that. No judgment on that, but that person can't be making sense what I'm trying to say. Does not mean I wouldn't support that person, help that person, listen to that person. Does not mean anything like that. But they won't be part of my core. And I have been in a situation like that. That is why I'm going to use this as an example. Because when you lie and cheat in one area of your life, you lie and cheat in another area. It never just stays in one area. You know, it's like a chore doesn't go out and steal 1 crore rupees in the first time that you work. Once it starts with a vada pav, then it will move to a chain, then it will, right? So similarly in our life, one lie will never say to one lie becomes 10, then similarly gratitude. Gratitude is another value I hold, right? If I'm surrounded by people who are not thankful, which is why I always say thank you, say thank you, say thank you, say thank you to the bus wala, say thank you to the bus conductor, say thank you to the taxi wala. Just say thank you. In my 5 4, you're not going to find people who are just going to tell a waiter, hey, right? Or you're not going to find someone who says, uthalo. That will not be in my life, right? It may be in someone else's life, but it won't be. So again, no judgment on what your 5 hours versus my 5 hours. But as long as I am with my five who are aligning with my values, I'm so
Last question before we go on rapid fire. Like how we know that we are doing right.
for me the best is it like you know better. Then you want for इधर 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 कुछ लगता है नहीं लगता है ना you know God has given everybody a pen and a cup, everybody a song. When you know when you are lying and you know when you're being you know. And older people with tajurba can tell also when a younger person is lying. Something happens to their eye, something happens to their facial expression. And then they'll be like, it's like that 3-year-old child, no? Chocolate is a with chocolate? No, no. Similarly, when you're 20, 24 and you're telling a 70-year-old that you know that that did not happen, you see it. Because why does it show on your phone? Because it's you. और यहाँ पे जो हो रहा है ना therapy. You understand what I'm saying? So you know when you're so why pretend that मुझे पता है नहीं मैं आपको ऐसे लेगी आपको पता था फिर भी आपने किया so just say sorry own it accept it align with the person that is the best within you and move forward वो जमाने के reason नहीं
So now the fun part, rapid fire.
now you will become Karan Joshi challenge let's try
Now we have very quick questions. And so lead with logic or lead with emotion. Okay. One word that defines failure. Define words like making a bad decision or not making a decision.
not
What one question you always ask when you're mentoring someone?
what is right for them
If you had a, if you had to describe one leader style in one word, leader style in one word, what would
my leadership style in
one
one
word?
word somewhere between love and authority
Compare.
okay let's go with that
Delegate the work or doing like doing by yourself, which is harder.
really
Would you rather have 100 loyal followers or 1,000 passive supporters?
100 loyal every day of the
I know that answer. Best book you have ever read about leadership?
Um, it's not really a traditional leadership book, but there are a lot of leadership principles in it. A thousand splendid suns. S-U-N-S.
Daily habits that make you better leader.
Meditation. I have many. I have many books. But meditation, I would say, is my top. Yeah. Because I'm a very emotional person. If I don't settle that, nobody has a clue.
Your leadership role model.
So, uh, my dad is the first person that to my mind. I am in awe. I am in absolute awe of what he has created. I mean, I'm I never take it, I don't ever want to take it for granted. I don't think I have the quality, the risk he has taken, the investment he has made, the faith he has shown. He has been a real life role model for what consistent leadership can do, build, and how much time.
So, so what like what one leadership principle you live with always?
I'm saying I think I always live with what is best for the other person. I may have a viewpoint that no, I would do this, but that may not necessarily be right for that person. So what is right for that person? That is always a more. What is it that you, and then we try to work out a plan based on what you, not necessarily on what I want for that. Same in business, when employee comes. The question is always what, ma'am, should I stay in this job or leave this? Well, let's talk about it. What are your dreams? What are your interests? Based on that, then we can give the advice. Stay there.
Leaders should think about others first as compared to them.
Their goals. Yes, their goals. No, you should always think about yourself, right? This is some disconnected logic कि हम खुद को sacrifice करेंगे सामने वाले बंदे को वो
हाँ.
मैं नहीं बोलती. Okay, you have to protect your mental health, you have to protect your mental health, you have to protect your physical health, because if you don't take care of yourself you can't help anybody. But as a leader, when you come to the table and you're guiding, mentoring others, leading others, you want to think about what are that person's goals so you can direct them accordingly. I'm not saying sacrifice yourself.
If you had a given a one leadership speech in 10 seconds, what would
I've said this all through this podcast. I'm going to say it again. Go out there, try different things, fail, succeed, try again, fail, succeed. That's the leadership funda. Anyone in their 20s, that's amazing.
one equality every leader must one quality that every leader must need to have?
Courage.
So, any advice would you like to give the younger version of yourself or mentee who watching this?
Don't stress. Implement everything. Don't take tension about your marks. Don't take tension about your attendance. Don't worry, am I in the right career or not? Don't worry about whether that degree will get you that job. As long as you are committed to killing yourself, as long as you are committed to stepping into the opportunity of others, that's so I have a thing here that I'm like, right? I should be in some corporate somewhere is what I had always thought I would be, right? Some director in some company, some CEO in some
Mm.
company. But I'm in buses and multiple schools, right? Life will lead you where it needs and keep you happy as long as you continue stepping, taking the next one. If you prepare for it.
Very true. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your lovely time. So happy to have you.